Hey everyone, welcome back to Social Security Post. Big news today. President Trump has just announced that seniors and other Americans could receive a $2,000 stimulus check before the end of this year. That's right. A new direct payment, this time funded by tariff revenue, not new taxes or debt. And the president says this plan is already in motion. But how real is it? Who qualifies? And how soon could the money arrive in your account? Stay with me until the end of this video because I'll break down every confirmed detail, including the competing proposal from Senate Democrats for a $200 per month boost. Before we dive in, make sure you like this video, subscribe to Social Security Post, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a major update on Social Security, SSI, SSDI, SNAP, and other benefits that matter to you. I'll also be reading your comments in the next video, so drop your city and state below. Let's see where you're watching from. On November 9th, 2025, President Trump made headlines with a Truth Social post promising a tariff dividend of at least $2,000 per person before the year ends. His post described an America experiencing record economic strength, with almost no inflation, record-high stock markets, and trillions in new tariff revenue. The president said this dividend would be paid to all Americans except high-income earners, essentially serving as a direct benefit funded by trade revenues collected from foreign imports. The announcement quickly went viral across financial and political circles, marking the third time in 2025 Trump has publicly raised the idea of direct stimulus payments. The timing of this message is no coincidence. With rising living costs and seniors still feeling the pinch from small benefit increases, the promise of a $2,000 check before December 31st has generated enormous excitement. It also signals Trump's confidence in America's financial position, citing tariff surpluses and manufacturing expansion as proof that the country can afford to give back. For millions of Social Security and disability recipients, this message sounded like long-awaited good news heading into the holiday season. The proposed payments would not rely on borrowing or printing new money. Instead, they'd come from tariff revenues, which reached record levels in mid-2025. According to Treasury data, the United States collected nearly $30 billion in June 2025 alone from tariffs on imported goods, a historic figure that pushed the yearly projection above $150 billion. These funds are primarily collected on imports from China, Mexico, Canada, and the European Union, all part of Trump's broader trade realignment strategy. What makes this funding mechanism different is that it uses foreign import taxes rather than taxpayer dollars. The administration argues this approach strengthens the U.S. economy by supporting domestic production while redistributing the gains back to citizens. If even a fraction of that $150 billion were distributed, a $2,000 check could reach over 70 million recipients, including retirees, low-income families, and disabled individuals, all without expanding the federal deficit. This new $2,000 plan didn't come out of nowhere. It builds directly on a July 2025 proposal when Trump first suggested a $600 tariff rebate for working Americans. Following that announcement, Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri introduced the American Worker Rebate Act in Congress. The legislation sought to amend the Internal Revenue Code of 1986, allowing direct payments funded by tariff proceeds. Essentially, it would redirect revenue collected from foreign imports back to American taxpayers. The bill defined eligible recipients broadly, not just wage earners, but also Social Security, SSI, SSDI, and veteran beneficiaries. That inclusion made it a rare bipartisan idea at the time, as it promised relief for both the working class and those living on fixed incomes. Though the legislation didn't immediately advance, it laid the groundwork for the president's later announcement. It showed that the legal framework for such a payment already exists, making this $2,000 tariff dividend not just political talk, but a feasible financial move. Over the months that followed, the idea of tariff-funded rebates grew rapidly. In late summer, Trump hinted that he might double the rebate to $1,000, citing the continued surge in tariff collections. Then, as revenues and investor confidence climbed through the fall, he raised the target again, this time to $2,000 per person. Analysts say this scaling shows both economic confidence and a clear intent to deliver noticeable financial relief heading into 2026. In his post, Trump emphasized that payments would be sent before the end of the year, making it clear he wants checks in mailboxes or accounts by December 31st, 2025. While no official application process has been released yet, previous stimulus checks used IRS and SSA databases to distribute payments automatically. The phrase, "not including high-income people," suggests an income phase-out likely around $75,000 for individuals and $150,000 for couples, similar to earlier stimulus rounds. If implemented through the Treasury Department or as part of a continuing resolution bill, the payments could reach Americans as early as mid-December. Officials note that because this rebate uses existing tariff revenue, it would not require new appropriations from Congress, only authorization to disperse the funds. That means the $2,000 tariff dividend could be one of the fastest delivered federal payments in recent history if the order is signed this month. Trump's central argument is that tariffs have rebuilt the U.S. economy while restoring fiscal balance. He points to record 401k values, a booming manufacturing sector, and new factories opening nationwide as proof that America's trade policies are working. He also notes that these revenues allow the government to begin paying down the $37 trillion national debt, a goal that previous administrations rarely prioritized. Critics, however, caution that tariffs can contribute to consumer price increases, but administration officials counter that the impact on inflation has been minimal, with current year-over-year inflation holding near 2.4%, far below the levels seen in 2022. Supporters also emphasize that using tariff money for rebates directly benefits citizens rather than funneling funds into bureaucratic spending. In short, the $2,000 dividend represents both an economic reward and a political symbol of the America First trade strategy. Supporters see this proposal as a continuation of Trump's earlier One Big Beautiful Bill, which combined tax cuts, Social Security reforms, and infrastructure spending into a single legislative push. By referencing that success, the president reminds Congress and voters that he's capable of pushing large-scale relief through Washington quickly, even in politically divided times. If this $2,000 check becomes law, it could arrive as part of the year-end budget negotiations, potentially using reconciliation to bypass partisan gridlock. The administration views it as both stimulus and symbolism, demonstrating that tariff policy not only protects U.S. industries but also directly benefits American households. For retirees and Social Security recipients, it could represent the largest single-year windfall since the pandemic-era relief checks of 2021. Meanwhile, Senate Democrats have advanced their own relief proposal titled the Social Security Emergency Inflation Relief Act. The measure would provide an extra $200 per month for 6 months starting in January 2026, covering Social Security, SSI, SSDI, VA disability, and railroad retirees. This temporary raise responds to frustration over the 2.8% COLA for 2026, which adds only $55 per month on average, far below what most seniors expected. The plan is designed to give fixed-income households short-term breathing room as inflation continues to affect groceries, gas, and rent. Lawmakers say the program could deliver up to $1,200 in added income per recipient, funded through general revenues or reallocated surplus funds. With more than 80% of Republicans and Democrats expressing public support for the idea, it stands as one of the most popular bipartisan relief efforts of the year. If both proposals advance, the Trump $2,000 tariff dividend and the Democratic $200 per month increase, seniors could experience historic dual relief between December 2025 and mid-2026. Combined, the two programs would inject roughly $250 billion into the U.S. economy, much of it spent locally on essentials like groceries, rent, and healthcare. Economists predict such direct-to-consumer payments would provide a modest but meaningful boost to small-town and urban economies alike. For many Social Security recipients who've struggled to keep up with rising costs, this relief could mean catching up on overdue bills or stocking up for winter. It also reflects a rare moment of bipartisan acknowledgement that seniors and disabled Americans remain among the hardest hit by inflation and stagnant wage growth. The shared momentum between both parties shows a growing willingness to prioritize the nation's retirees after several years of financial strain. So, what do you think? Do you believe President Trump will deliver the $2,000 checks before the end of 2025? Or will this proposal face delays in Congress? I'd love to hear your thoughts below. See you in the next video.